Welcome, family, peace and blessings to everybody.
Namaste.
Yes, so this conscious conversation is going to be what race are you? And me and my beloved have been wanting to do this conversation for a while, this conscious conversation for a while, and we're hoping that it's going to deepen your heart and lift your spirits. It is kind of a touchy subject if you're taking it personal because of all of the gender identification that there is today, and especially for me identifying as a unicorn, you know. So if
Yes,
you're gonna ask me what race I am, my race is going to be unicorn. Okay.
yes.
But I want to start it off with this quote written by the messenger, my beloved, because I think that this will help to uh, expand your idea of what race really is, which is just merely an idea. Um, so this is written by him. It's the concept of race is a mere illusion conjured by the unstable mind, perpetrating a false narrative of separation and division. From a genetic perspective, ac- adaptations to diverse environments and climates give rise to variations in the physical expression. But these differences do not define our fundamental nature. We are all conscious beings, united in our essence beyond the external characteristics that distinguish us. Awakening to this truth allows us to transcend the limitations of the mind and recognize the interconnectedness of all beings. We are free to express ourselves in countless ways, yet our essence remains pure consciousness. In this realization, we find liberation and freedom from the constraints of the ego. Just as an African and Asian elephant are still elephants despite their genetic differences, we too are a part of a united whole, untouched by the artificial constructs of race. Love, the external spirit, knows no face or race. To claim a specific race is to succumb to ignorance. Embracing our true nature as untainted consciousness is to experience the joy of being,
yes,
unaccompanied by the illusions of the mind.
yes. It's beautiful. Thank you, my beloved. Thank you. And it is very true. It is very true. We're not divine by the characteristics that's being expressed. And, it's all divine. And we take it personal. That's what part that's become problematic. Is that we take this race to be personal. It really is who I am, you know, the mind, body, and this race. No, that's not it. You're going further away from what is true. You know, if anything, if you ask me, I would identify as being. I am a conscious being, just to be real. You know, I love the fact that my beloved identifies that as a unicorn. You know, I can be the I can be the masculine, and she can be the feminine, and it
Yes.
makes it so fun and divine. You know, it's a play, but then you can always come back to yourself. You see, and it's so very simple. I was telling my beloved earlier that it's effortless to be yourself. You see, but it is so hard to try to be this character that has to impress others, you see. And that's not what it's about. It's about being one. It's about loving everything, loving all beings as one, not by race, you know. It's already, it's plainly and clear that it is an expression of God itself.
I like to say it's God loving God,
Yes.
and there's so much confusion in this world right now where so much fighting and wars because of race. And I just don't understand that people really cannot understand that they are not the race. They are not the body. They're not even the gender. You know, I was telling my beloved too that we're all humans, we're all the human race. You know, and he could probably even get deeper than that. It's more than just the human race. You know, it's it's one consciousness.
Yes, yes. And it's expressing itself many, many different ways, and it's here, it's real right in front of you. You walk out, you see all different types of melanated beings around. But like I said before, it's just the fact that it is taken personal. But once you see it universal, you start to see things clear. Okay, we're all the same, you know. And this is just God unfolding, or what you want to call God. We call God many different names. But to be a race, like I said, is to be lost in ignorance, because you don't truly know yourself. You have these races fighting over who's the true Egyptians, or who's the true Africans, or who's the true Asians. And that's all ignorance. Because you're focused on the image. Just it's the same thing with religion. You focus on the image of the one that is speaking the truth instead of going to the truth itself. You see that? So all this identifying with race, you go further away from the truth. And the truth is always shining, and it's shining so effortlessly that it's looked over, by the identification that I am this race different from you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I like to take just a moment just to let that set in because so much confusion, it creates so much confusion and separation, which is getting you further away from yourself,
Yes,
and that's what it was meant to do. I mean, if you look up the definition of race, it's an idea. An idea equals illusion,
yes. It's
you
just
know?
it's an idea, so it's a thought. It's just a thought. So all the thoughts that go through your head, they're not real. You know, and we kind of just bring them into a reality. We make them become an illusionary real. And we abide by that, and that's not good, because, like you were saying, my beloved, is that we're all in war over it, over race, and we're fighting over land. You know, this land is inherently ours. The whole land, everything should be free. And bartering. But no, all the races have made the separation where we have to pay for everything. And it's not okay. But that's just, I guess, how the world is in a way. But to the awakened, we don't dwell on that. This is just to get you to come home to yourself. This talk that we're talking right now about race is just to get you to come back home and show you the ignorance in it.
It is. It truly is ignorance. And not saying that you are ignorant, it's just ignorance because it's a not knowing of yourself.
Yes, yes,
And if you're identifying as, and both of us, we both took DNA tests. We both took it and we both looked at it and we both said this couldn't be because if we were really to do a genetic testing, right, it would lead back to Africa or to Egypt because that's originally where we all are from, regardless if you identify as Caucasian, you identify as Indian, you identify as Chinese. It all originates in the motherland, which is Africa.
yes, yes,
And um, so the ancestry can't be true. It can't be truth, because it all originates back to one spot in Africa, which
yes.
is what is it called? I forgot what
Well,
is the tribe in Africa?
oh, it's a really, really old tribe. Uh, but you go as far as back as Kemet, and
Kemet,
even
yeah.
prior to that. There's the oldest races. I mean, not races, but the oldest beings that are in Africa that've been over there 144,000 years. You know, but even to count years is
Quickly.
incorrect.
Yeah.
You know, but that is the motherland. That is the motherland, and that's where we became aware of ourselves, meaning conscious beings. It can get personal, but it's not personal. It's really not. Who you are, in essence, is not personal at all. And to an awakened being, this all makes sense. You know, this is seen very clear. So what we're trying to do is just to bring you guys back. That's all. Just to bring you guys back to this moment and know that you're just pure being all the time, expressing itself. And this is love. You know, this is the love of being.
And try not to identify with the actual race. Don't identify when you see somebody. Don't say, "Oh, I wonder what race they are," or "I wonder what ethnicity they are."
Ethnicity. Ethnicity.
I would like for you guys to see God in everything that you see, every person that you see.
And you see, that can even be taken personal also. What we're talking about is the source itself. It is genderless, it is non-race, the source doesn't identify with none of that. And you are the source. You see, you are the source. But that's a whole nother story.
So, if you had a message for them about race, what would that message be right now? I know that you had already written a quote, but what would that message be as far as going into tomorrow, even though tomorrow's not here, going
Hmm.
into the present moment? Say they're going to the grocery store or they're meeting somebody new and they see somebody and they're like, "Oh,
Oh, that's perfect. There you go. It's simply namaste. That word right there in itself says everything. Namaste, because it recognizes the divine within. It is not pointing to any type of race or anything like that. So it's simply namaste, the divine greeting that you are God, and that is truth. That is the truth. Uh, to a lot of beings, especially that are in seeking, they take the word God as something blasphemy, but it's not. It is what you are. You know, you are beyond race. You are beyond that, and this is something that you have to look for within yourself. All we're doing is just pointing to it.
yeah,"
Yes.
because the mind wonders, the mind wants to say, "What do you mean? On my birth certificate it says that I was half black and half white. So
Right.
how are you able to tell me that I'm not the race?"
Right. See, that's all personal. Even the what's written on your birth certificate, it is all personal, made up stuff to identify with the body and mind. It is not made to identify with the divine. You see, and it hits deep everywhere because you can go all in the types of situations where okay, all this stuff is taken personal, but then the secret itself has to find its way back. It has to find its way back home.
And so I'm going to even challenge you even more. Like, how could I not take it personal? It's on my birth certificate. I'm even going to push you even further. How could I not take it personal? It's on my birth certificate. What do you mean? They gave me this birth certificate, and this is who I've been my whole life. I mean,
So,
I've been Jessica my whole life. I've been mixed with black and white my whole life.
so
My identity has been female on my birth certificate my whole life. How could I not take it personal?
I can bring you to this is like, okay, even with the words black and white, that didn't come into play until the 16th century. Or the 16th, I'm not talking the century, but the 1600s.
So,
So just by saying that their mind is just making stuff up as it goes. You know,
okay,
I'm
okay.
black, I'm black, you're white. Okay. Even, let me see. Uh,
Take me there. Take me there.
if,
So the 16th century is when race started to be identified.
yes, black and white. Yes.
Okay.
Even when the I guess we would call colonizers, they came over to America and with the Indians, when they made Social Security cards, you had what we call whites going to sign up as Indians. You see what I'm saying? Just so they can get the benefit that from the reservations that America was giving out. They were giving out money. They were giving out properties and reservations.
So
So
that's when Social Security started.
yes, also. So all this stuff is just made up as the mind goes. The
I want to
unstable.
get there. I want to figure out how it originated because I'm sure people that are going to be listening to this message want to know. They want to know
And
the truth.
even in biblical times, my beloved, is that nobody identified as a black, white. It was like what side of the continent you were from. Either you were from
Jesus of Nazareth.
yeah, the Jesus of Nazareth. You were from Bethlehem, or you were a Jew. You were from that side of town, or from Israel. You know, it's like that. But then, as race, what we call race, went on to evolve on, we went ahead and said, hey, you're black and you're white and you're a yellow person and you're a brown person. And see how it gets deeper and deeper. And
Yes.
now everybody, even with the Egyptians, now they made up another color, which is olive color now.
Oh,
It's olive. So it's like, okay, I hope that you're getting what I'm, because it's it's really funny when you really recognize it, like, oh man, I do recognize something. I do identify as something that was made up. Even the persona of the person is made up too. It is.
I understand.
Uh,
I'm there with you. I get it. I can see. But as a listener
yes,
of our channel, I want them to understand. Like I want them to understand how this illusion has been taken so far that you identify as a race. And it's
yes,
okay because we all have been there.
yes, yes. Of course, from the very beginning, even with the idea of mother and father, it's been passed on for many many generations, and that's another part of the illusion. Also, is that okay? When the baby's born, you tell them, "I am your mother, and this is your father, this is your aunties, and all your cousins and stuff like that." And that's also being a part of your race. Okay, and we're this race. So you teach your baby, okay, you are this race, and then the next generation, and it keeps on going, and just keeps on going to
Generational
to
curse after
right.
generational
And
curse.
it's a generational curse. So it just keeps going and keeps going until it's just literally taken as real. I was telling our beloved son the other day, it's just like all this identifying as race and time, past and future, is just a lingo to me. It is just a lingo, and it's not real. He was kind of like, "What, Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's just basically a lingo that we talk. That I'm black, that person's white, and she's Chinese. All that's it's just a lingo. It's just all made up, and we're really just these perfect, imperfect, divine beings.
There we go. That's what I want you to get to. Who are we?
Yes, perfect,
Who are we?
perfect,
Who
divine.
are we if we're not race? Who are we if we can't identify as race? Who are we?
Now, this is very simple. If you had to wipe out your memory for one day and you woke up and we asked you, where are you? You would simply say, I am right here. And that is the I am shining through you as a conscious being. You are simply aware of yourself.
There
And
you
you
go.
don't have to add on, I'm aware of the person, or I'm aware that I am black. No, I'm aware that I am being. You see that? It is so simple. I am aware that I am being,
I am right here, right now.
and that's who you are, and that's what we all are. And I say, like I say, it's effortless, but it's looked over by the identification that I am separate. And what did it say in Google? It says by um,
An idea.
first, yeah, this idea of behaviors and separate groups that makes us races and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So a behavior makes you a race, certain race. Okay, we don't act like that race, so we're this race. Or we don't act like that race. This is where all the debate and hate comes from. My race is
That's
better than yours.
insanity.
My race isn't better than yours. Oh, your race isn't smart. Your race didn't invent anything. Oh, it goes on and on. The mind starts with a conclusion and it never leaves it. And it's insane. And it keeps going, it keeps going. And it takes a truly an awakened being to recognize this, because we can just keep going and keep going and keep going because we've identified ourselves to be something that is false.
And I know that people are going to be like, whoa, but we ask for you to sit with that. Sit with that. Who would you be without anything? Like you said,
Right.
if you wake up tomorrow and you have nothing and you're just here, we
Yeah.
ask you where are you? You would say I'm right here. And so I'm going to challenge you guys to ask yourself, who are you without everything? Without everything, without your career, without your race, without your children, without your home, without your car, without your job.
Yeah. And the word is it is uh, it is nothing, right? But this nothing is everything. But to the personal perspective, this nothing is like I'm a bum. I don't have anything. I'm worthless. But to an awakened being, this nothing that I am nothing is everything. I am all. I am God itself. I am infinite. I am perfect just the way I am. It changes you when you awaken to the truth and you realize that you're not a race and that you're divine. You just see things different. You know, it's definitely a shift in attention and behavior, of course, because a lot of things you just let go. So it's to me it's important to know yourself. You know, and I'm not taking anything away. I'm not saying okay, now you have to be a rock or a tree. You see what I'm saying? You just don't do nothing. No, you continue to be this being that you are. It's just that you stop being attached to this persona that you were taught to be. And this is why in spirituality we say unlearn everything because it's all been made up. And now let's point to the real.
Yeah,
The
it's a
real,
divine dance between duality.
yes, there you go.
It's a divine dance between duality, and it's beautiful. And one of the hardest things I had to let go of in my awakening was that, that I was not, because one of the hardest things I had to let go is that um, I was not a mother, and I was that in my divine play, but it wasn't real, and that was one of the hardest things in my awakening for me, was like letting go of everything, and just being in that flow of that moment, is where I am now.
And you're still that, and you're that beautifully, honey. You are the best mother anyone can have. It's just that you recognize that it is just a flawless dream that is being
Mhm.
expressed. It doesn't change pretty much anything, but it makes you better.
But it changes everything at the same time.
Actually, it makes you better.
Yeah.
Because you have this great love still, but this attachment at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and it's divine. It's perfectly okay. perfectly okay. Yeah.
So we're going to leave you with that. We love you guys so very much.
Um, yes, we love you and hope this hit home. And how this whole thing keeps going is that if you guys have any type of questions, like my beloved was saying earlier in the show, is that just come and type in what's on your heart, and we can talk about it. That's satsang, you know. It's the gathering of truth.
Yes. And we're doing things a little bit differently. We're going to be uploading this video instead of going actual live, but we are going to be taking requests on things that you guys want for us to talk about. We have a whole lot of things to talk about. But this was just one of them that, just pulled at our hearts. Like, let's talk about this because a lot of people are identifying as race and it's not real.
Yeah,
So we're going to continue to speak the truth regardless of how people feel about it.
yeah,
um, because we are living in our authentic self, and we can see and we know.
yeah.
um, so with that being said, we love you guys very much, and we'll see you on the next one.
Boom.